2 people are arrested in the shooting of an 11-year-old girl. Concerns brought to City Hall over lead in the tap water. How to shelter the homeless with winter on the horizon.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Regina police have charged 2 young men in connection with a shooting last month that left a young girl injured. Donovan May says the latest on the investigation that raised safety concerns in the neighborhood of Eastview.
2 men are facing an attempted murder charge in relation to a shooting last month which injured an 11-year-old girl. On August 11th, police were called to Regina's Eastview neighborhood on the 1000 block of Edgar Street just after 2 a.m. following a report the girl was suffering from a gunshot wound. She was inside a home in the area at the time of the shooting. Now 5 weeks into the investigation, police revealing the home was targeted by the shooters who fired nearly 20 bullets towards it.
It was a targeted location, and so for people in the community, I would reassure them that it is a safe neighborhood, that there aren't ongoing safety concerns.
RPS says dozens of hours worth of personal security camera footage of the area has been reviewed by investigators, and as a result, 20-year-old Anthony Nabexi and 18-year-old Devin Nabexi both face several charges, including attempted murder, reckless discharge of a firearm, conspiracy to commit murder, and 3 other charges related to gun possession and stolen property. Devin is also charged with 2 counts of possessing a firearm contrary to a prohibition order, both making their first court appearance Wednesday morning. Police could not confirm if the 2 men are related nor if this targeted shooting is gang-related.
We don't see these types of things happen in Regina on a daily basis, thankfully. We are not immune to gun crime, unfortunately. We are doing everything that we can to ensure that those who were responsible are held accountable.
Davies says the young girl continues to recover from the injury she sustained from the shooting. Now, with this investigation ongoing, Regina police continue to ask for any doorbell or video camera footage from the area of the night of the shooting, as well as for anyone who may have information related to this incident to come forward. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
3 additional people face charges in connection with an RCMP investigation in Richmond that led to a series of arrests in early September at the self-proclaimed Queen of Canada's compound. The trio faced charges over not providing their names or dates of birth to arresting officers upon request when RCMP descended on the former Richmond school where Romana Didulo and the Kingdom of Canada has been living since 2023. All 3 face charges of 1 count of obstruction of a peace officer. They'll appear in court in Leader in November. Didulo also appeared in Swift Current Court today for a preliminary hearing. She's out on bail with a list of conditions, while the Richmond compound has been deemed unsafe for human habitation by the Saskatchewan Health Authority. Saskatoon's police chief says a former officer's friendship with a gang associate put the integrity of the police service at risk. Chief Cam McBride took the stand today at a hearing where a veteran officer is appealing his dismissal. Sergeant Robbie Taylor was fired from Saskatoon Police in March following an investigation into his friendship with someone associated with the Hells Angels. The associate cannot be named because of a publication ban. Chief McBride says the friendship contradicts the code of ethics. 5 days have been set aside for this hearing. RCMP are investigating after a man was killed in a single vehicle rollover on the number 1 highway. The crash happened near Wapella on Tuesday morning. Police arriving along with fire and EMS shortly after 6:30. The lone, or 9:30, excuse me, the lone occupant of the vehicle was declared dead on scene. He's been identified as a 26-year-old man from Moosomin. His family has been notified. RCMP continued to investigate this crash. The province has officially opened the Saskatoon Correctional Centre expansion. Officials and media were invited to tour the new building, which will accommodate an additional 312 beds for offenders. The addition also has a medical unit, which includes dental and optical services, and will host inmates from across the province.
A lot of the work that's done within the facility is on the reintegration practices. It's on providing the life skills and addictions treatment programming, things like that, to address the underlying factors behind criminal behavior.
The expansion ended up costing a total of $135 million. Some families are voicing their concerns to Regina's executive committee about the levels of lead in the city's drinking water. At Wednesday's meeting, committee members also discussed plans to tackle this year's winter season. Sierra D'Souza Butts has the details.
When moving into the cathedral area with her family, Cheryl Hymas Fraser says she tested her home's water levels as a precaution.
Some of our tests showed 161 micrograms per liter, and 5 micrograms per liter is what Health Canada says is the limit. So we were very shocked.
After finding out the levels of lead was more than the maximum amount, she became concerned for her children's health.
We had lead in our water, and we had to do a whole bunch of stuff to get rid of it. We had to get filters, and we had to get blood work done because we had been drinking the water.
Now, the two are sharing their experience with the city of Regina, urging the city to fast-track its current approach on replacing residents' water filter systems. On Wednesday, Regina's executive committee approved modifying its ongoing lead service connection management program to assist residents accessing clean drinkable water by expanding its repayment plan to all homeowners who replace their private-side lead service connections, along with increasing its engagement with the community to install at-source water filtration systems.
I like that there's going to be some concentration on talking to landlords through whatever means they can connect with landlords. That's a very important part of the picture because of what we've heard of tenants not being aware of what's happening.
Executive Committee also reviewed a summary of last year's snow management, approving the recommendation to update its initiatives for winter road maintenance.
We are able to execute at a high level of service compared to the budget that we utilize. So there's a lot of good things that we took out of that, but it is one of the highest service requests that we see, and so it's important that we have that focus still on this program to make sure we maintain that service that residents expect.
Recommendations made by Regina's Executive Committee will be brought forward on September 24th for approval by Regina City Council. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Well, people that are experiencing homelessness in Regina are worried as winter approaches. At last count earlier this year, there are more than 800 people without shelter, which is more than the amount of shelter spaces offered. As Wayne Mantica tells us, a number of social agencies met with those concerned to discuss the situation.
Sunroof. Bobby Dean is without shelter.
Right there is where we sleep for now. Hoping that's going to change very soon.
He and his partner have been living outside Carmichael Outreach since last year. He says help is available, but it's a slow process.
The housing coordinators here can help us, which kind of takes time. And I mean, they got so many people that they deal with too.
Agencies that work with the unhoused met in Regina to discuss the situation. Namarand Housing recently revised its 5-year plan.
I always say it's about awareness and it's about working together, and it's taken a little while, like I'm saying months, to get people to actually understand that working together we can do much more.
National experts say it's going to take years to solve the problem at the current rate of housing construction.
We haven't increased the proportion of non-market housing. In fact, it's decreased. And by non-market housing, I mean public housing, co-op housing, supportive housing, etc., since the 1990s. So that's almost 4 decades now where we have been neglecting those who are most in need.
Regina has a plan originally championed by former Mayor Michael Fougere.
Well, I'm glad to see Namarand Housing is taking the initiative to put this event together and to talk about homelessness, what we can do to get going on this.
Those living outdoors say they are holding on to hope as they explore immediate housing options for winter. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
Let it die, right?
All right, Sabine, winter is coming, but not yet. Still nice temperatures.
Nobody liked hearing that when I said that off air. Yeah, today was just a regular old, I mean, I know it's not officially fall, but it was a regular fall day in many parts of the province, Lee. We didn't see much in terms of active weather. However, in the southeast, we did see for just a short little while some severe thunderstorm warnings pop up in and around the Lampman area. Still seeing a little bit of rain activity in the area, but other than that, you can see for the most part, we started out with clear conditions and then more of that cloud cover started started to roll in. Temperatures were still sitting at around seasonal, if not warmer than seasonal. So some areas we're still seeing those temperatures getting into the 20s. Here in Regina, we warmed up to about 21 degrees late this afternoon. The average is about 18 degrees, but there is a very nice warm-up happening this weekend, and I'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. The pause of a federal automotive program to increase zero-emission vehicle sales is getting a nod of approval in Saskatchewan, especially from dealerships. Keenan Sorkon tells us more.
Vehicle sales in Saskatchewan are booming, but it's not electric or zero-emission vehicles driving sales.
At the end of the day, we'll sell what people want, and but the infrastructure has to be there.
Earlier this month, the Prime Minister announced a pause to a mandate, which would have required 20% of new vehicles sold in Canada be zero-emission vehicles starting next year.
This will provide immediate financial relief to automakers at a time of increased pressure on their competitiveness.
Dealerships are celebrating the decision simply because charging infrastructure is lacking.
Truly, it was a cart before the horse sort of a scenario. Based on the California numbers of 12 vehicles for one charger, we were going to be on pace to be over 52,000 chargers short in the province of Saskatchewan alone by 2035.
Overall vehicle sales are on track to make this the best sales year since 2017, up 14% compared to last year. Data from SGI shows more people are choosing electric, but the numbers are still well short of the federal government's goals. At the end of 2023, there were more than 1,700 electric vehicles registered in Saskatchewan. That number jumped to 2,500 by the end of 2024. As of Wednesday, there are nearly 3,000 electric vehicles on the road.
Certainly, we had some adoption, but we need the other pieces to come along with it.
During the pause, Ottawa is also holding a 2-month review of the mandate. Keenan Sorkon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
SAS power crews were working on restoring power lines today after lines were knocked down in 2 different incidents. Tuesday morning, a crane came into contact with a line, and later that evening, a train contacted a power line near Broad Street and McKinley Avenue. No injuries were reported, and power has been restored to the area. SAS Power is working on repairing the damages. Supporters and mourners gathered at the Saskatchewan Legislative Grounds last night for a vigil for Charlie Kirk. Kirk was shot during an appearance at Utah Valley University last week. The activist is the founder of the conservative youth organization Turning Point USA. Now, the vigil did draw hundreds of people to the legislative grounds. Now, when a family member passes away, usually ashes can be put into an urn. It's a way to still have a physical form of the departed. But one funeral home in Moose Jaw is offering a unique cremation option. Damian Smith explains.
In Moose Jaw, a newer way of holding a loved one who has passed is now available in the form of parting stones.
As a funeral home, we want to ensure that we are watching for ways for family to be able to honor their loved one. And we know that in times where there's cremation that takes place, not everyone is comfortable with an urn, and they're also not comfortable with placing in a cemetery.
Chamberlain reached out to Parting Stone, a company that compresses cremated remains. They take the ashes, convert them into powder, add water to make a clay-like substance, and put them in a kiln.
And once the firing is complete, this is where the solidification takes place. This is when they come out of the kiln, they really feel like a natural stone. They have kind of the properties of ceramic.
Based in New Mexico, this stone formation service remains quite rare. For Crow, the business is also personal.
This is one of the stones of my grandfather. My grandfather is all over the U.S. He's in Denver. He's in Akron, Ohio with my family.
Chamberlain says that the stones are in gradual demand in Moose Jaw, as this is a less traditional way for family and friends to grieve.
The urn can be heavy. That's just the way that it is. Where they can take a stone and they can hold this stone and they can reconnect. You're actually touching your loved one now, right? You're connecting with them this way rather than holding an urn that contains the ash.
The stones can be created from a variety of different colors, and it can also be created from pets as well. Damian Smith, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
Work is getting started at a new Costco location in West Regina. Construction crews moving dirt at 8701 Dutney Avenue this week, the site for the city's second Costco. Earlier this year, the project was given a $6.7 million grant in the form of economic incentives from the city of Regina to move ahead in the Westera neighborhood. In addition to the store, the site will also have a parking lot for more than 1,200 vehicles and a gas station. Still ahead, the Bank of Canada drops the interest rate. And King Charles welcomes U.S. President Donald Trump to Windsor Castle.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings.
Canadians haven't seen a bank rate cut since March, but today the interest rate dropped to 2.5%. That's the lowest we've seen in years, meaning some variable rates have dropped below fixed rates. Mike Lecouture takes a look at the thinking behind the rate reduction.
With global economic growth showing signs of slowing, Tiff Macklem says much of the uncertainty is because of the trade war with the U.S.
Tariffs are weakening the Canadian economy.
Canada's central banker couldn't be more blunt, as exports dropped by 27% in the second quarter of this year and inflation rose by 1.9%. Tiff Macklem and his team decided it was best to lower interest rates.
Canadians remain concerned about the cost of living, and our primary mandate is to maintain low, stable inflation, and we are very focused on that.
Well, Canada's GDP declined by 1.6% in the second quarter, and some forecasts have the rest of the year looking flat, leading some economists to use the R word.
The term is technical recession, where there's two negative quarters. Well, certainly we're pretty well there. The third quarter is going to be flat at best.
The central bank disagrees, predicting modest growth in the second half of the year. But Macklem says that could change depending on what comes from the U.S.
Where there's a significant escalation of tariffs, U.S. tariffs. In that scenario, the Canadian economy does go into recession.
The effects of the trade war are also being felt in the U.S., where job gains have slowed and inflation ticked up. It's why the U.S. Federal Reserve recommended cutting its interest rate by 25 basis points on Wednesday. And while the decisions in each country are made independently, it does provide some perspective.
You know, we talk about we got a big deficit in debt. Well, theirs is way bigger than ours are.
The Bank of Canada's next rate decision is in October, but it's unclear if there will be another cut then. With the federal budget expected November 4th, Macklem could wait to see the scope of government spending before cutting the interest rate again. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is preparing to travel to Mexico tomorrow, meeting with the Mexican president to discuss the country's trade pact with the U.S. Carney said Canada is looking to change aspects of CUSMA, specifically exemptions in trade law that allow the U.S. to hit Canada with industry-specific duties. Canada and Mexico are being hit hard by Trump's tariffs on steel, aluminum, copper, and automobiles. House of Commons observed a moment of silence today to honor the passing of Ken Dryden, a Hall of Fame Montreal Canadiens goaltender and former Minister of Social Development for the Liberal government.
Ken Dryden challenged us to dream big and to be bold for our future. As parliamentarians and as Canadians, let's work towards that future with Ken's values of hard work, of solidarity, and ambition. Few Canadians, Mr. Speaker, have given more or stood taller for our country. Ken Dryden was big Canada.
Dryden retired from hockey in his early 30s after winning 6 Stanley Cups and moved on to several careers, including public service in Ottawa. Dryden served as Member of Parliament for York Centre in Ontario beginning in June of 2004 until April of 2011. The union representing WestJet flight attendants says it plans to start talks over a new collective agreement before the current one expires on December 31st. CUPE says members are seeking better treatment and compensation for what it says is unpaid work when the planes are on the ground. The airline says it's looking forward to engaging at the table to reach an agreement. Earlier this month, Air Canada flight attendants rejected their employer's latest wage offer in a new contract vote after striking in August over similar concerns. In the United Kingdom, Donald Trump is being hosted by King Charles at Windsor Castle. The UK is pulling out all the stops for the U.S. president, who is known to be a fan of the royals. Joy Malbin has the latest.
This was a royal charm offensive. I mean, you mentioned it, pulling out all the stops. I mean, let's see. Greeted by the Prince and Princess of Wales, greeted by King Charles and Queen Camilla, a royal carriage ride within the state, within the Windsor estate. You had a fly past. You had this massive military performance. But of course, all of it happening inside Windsor Castle. Part of the concern, security, especially after the targeted assassination of Charlie Kirk, the attempts on Donald Trump's life, and also they don't want the images of the protesters. They don't want the president to see that sort of thing going on. There have been a smattering of protests here in Windsor and also in London, people against Donald Trump's policies, immigration, Gaza, you name it. But it has been a spectacular show, and of course that lavish banquet that will come later on tonight. All of this is a charm offensive to, as the White House says, strengthen the ties between the U.S. and the UK. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Windsor.
Coming up, the Pasqua First Nation celebrates the opening of a seniors care center.
Get ready to ring those phones. Saskatchewan, Thursday on Your Morning. Telemiracle is right around the corner. We're getting a closer look at this year's entertainment lineup.
Well, despite the fact I said earlier this was a beautiful scene, and then we did mention winter for a second, and despite the fact that Director Alex says that I'm trying to suck the joy out of weather, I said I was going to mention it. We're still friends, but he did make a good point. I like fall. I like the cooler seasons. Fall is just around the corner, and the temperatures are reflecting that as we take a look outside in Regina. 19 is what we're sitting at. Winds have picked up slightly. We were sitting just around the 5-kilometer-an-hour mark, and now they are starting to pick up. Seeing some wind gusts out there as well. We did warm up to about 21 degrees. We probably will stay in the high teen range as we head into tomorrow and into Friday. But as the weekend approaches, we're going to see those temperatures climb back into the 20s. I'll talk about that in your 7-day forecast. But over the last couple of hours, this is what we have been seeing on the radar satellite. So we still have that activity in the southeast. Mostly it's just cloud cover that is staying within eastern Saskatchewan. Western Saskatchewan seeing more clear conditions. That's kind of going to be the same theme we're going to see as we head into the rest of the next couple of days anyway. So as we take a look at what's to come, again, we will see a little bit of scattered precipitation coming through tonight into tomorrow as well. But by Friday, less precipitation, more cloud cover. And then by the time we get into the weekend, we'll start to see a lot of those conditions clear. By Saturday morning, still seeing a little bit of that cloud cover in and around the Regina Parkland area. But by the time we get into later in the afternoon, a lot of those conditions will clear, leaving us with a very sunny weekend ahead, a very warm weekend ahead as well. So in terms of precipitation or rainfall totals, with those little pockets of precipitation we are seeing come through the southeast, doesn't really look like much. Could be anywhere between 1 to 3 millimeters of rain between now into Friday morning. And then again, being left with mostly cloudy conditions for many parts of the province, including areas like Prince Albert. Tonight, cloudy, 8 degrees, warming to 18 tomorrow. 22 and sunny for Lloydminster. Mainly sunny, 23 for La Loche, and 19 and mainly sunny for La Ronge. When we take a look At areas around Saskatoon, mainly sunny, 21. Woke up with a lot of fog this morning, but started to clear out later this afternoon, and tomorrow again, mainly sunny, 21 there. 21 and a mix of sun and cloud for North Battleford. 15 and cloudy for Yorkton. Not much of a warm-up between tonight's 11-degree low and warming up to 15 tomorrow. Much warmer in the southwest and a lot more sunshine and clearer conditions. Maple Creek sunny tomorrow, 24 degrees. 23 and a mix of sun and cloud in Swift Current tomorrow, and 20. Mostly cloudy for Moose Jaw tomorrow, and expecting a little bit of precipitation tonight in the form of rain. 11 degrees is what is expected tonight. And again, similar to what we were seeing on that the future cast there, the maps showing us that precipitation in the southeast, expecting some rain in Weyburn and Assiniboia tonight, with a risk of thunderstorms in the Estevan area, but warming up not a whole lot tomorrow. Estevan 16 is the expected high. Cloudy conditions, cloudy for Weyburn and 17, and for Assiniboia tomorrow, cloudy and 20 degrees. For Regina tonight, 11 is what we're expecting to dip down to, warming up to 18 degrees and nothing but cloudy conditions. And as we take a look at your 7-day forecast, we do have a lot more sunshine expected on the way. He said she did it. Yes, there was technical glitches. We're working today. 18 and cloudy, mostly cloudy Friday, 20 degrees. And then we start to see that warm up arrive for Saturday and Sunday. 24 sunshine, 26 and sunny on Sunday. And then we will see those temperatures drop a little, but still in the 20s as we head into next week. Sunshine, 21 degrees, 23 and sunny on Tuesday. Wednesday, 23 degrees. The only thing I do want to point out is the wind here. We will most likely be seeing these winds actually gusting a little higher. Monday, Tuesday could see the winds gusting up to about 50, 65 kilometers an hour. So some very high winds expected for the start of next week. But temperatures also not looking too bad, considering September 22nd is the first official day of fall.
Yes. That's why you're holding a celebration party that day, right?
Yes. I'm going to have a little party in the newsroom at my desk.
The Sabine Fall Party.
I almost heard Sabine Falls Apart party, but we'll talk about that. I don't know what's
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sabine.
Yeah, you bet.
For more than 15 years, Pasqua First Nation has been working to get a senior care center onto their nation, which would provide culturally sensitive programs and services. Well, today, that day arrived. Mick Fable tells us more about the monumental day for the community.
What was once an idea is now a reality. Pasqua First Nation is now the proud owner of a senior care home established to improve the quality of life for an important portion of their population. It's a facility already getting positive reviews from those who now call the Red Eagle Lodge home.
Feeling that secure, safe environment, they're close to home. This is, you know, they all speak very highly of the way that staff treat them.
Talks for the care home began in 2009. Since then, a number of steps were taken, including consultations with Pasqua members who would possibly use the home on their needs and wants from a senior care center.
We're all facing the same issues on all of our nations regarding our older population and having a safe space for them. And I'm thankful that we're able to provide this for our relatives.
The Red Eagle Lodge currently has 12 residential suites, with half of them currently filled. Those living in the facility have access to a gym, saunas, a theater room, a hair salon, as well as 24/7 clinical staff and on-site security. Also, built around the property are smaller homes meant for independent living. Irvin Pasqua has been living at the Red Eagle Lodge since July. He is happy to be back on Pasqua after spending years in other senior care homes.
I've been gone for 40 years and I finally come home now. I'm happy to be home here. I'm proud to be home now, anyway.
Special consideration is now being given to members of Pasqua First Nation. Leadership say if there is room at any time, the door is always open for non-members. The Red Eagle Lodge Care Center is intended to serve generations of seniors to come.
To me, you know, if you have the vision and the desire, there's nothing that can stop you from moving forward as a First Nation. And that's how our leadership think. We're constantly thinking of the future.
Mick Fable, CTV News, Pasqua First Nation.
Still ahead after feeling the hangover from their 2024 WHL title last season, Moose Jaw Warriors look to build themselves back up into contenders.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
At this time last year, the Moose Jaw Warriors were still basking in the glow of winning that 2024 WHL title. This year, though, it's all about building back up for another shot with veterans who experienced what it takes to win a championship. Jacob Carr has more.
For the Moose Jaw Warriors, there is nowhere to go but up after finishing in the basement of the WHL Eastern Conference last season. Head coach Mark O'Leary says it's time for the veterans on the team who have experienced the highs and the lows to step their game up.
They've been around here. They were here when we won a championship as young guys, and last year going through the tough year that we did. But now it's time as guys that have been in the league for 3 years to be those guys that we lean on now. I know they're excited about the opportunity.
One of those veterans looking to elevate their game is 20-year-old forward Pavel McKenzie. Acquired in 2023 by the Warriors after spending a few years in the SJHL, McKenzie has been through the team's ups and downs over the past 2 seasons.
We had a lot of great players that played with us in the first year and come back. We had a couple of second-year vets, but it was we knew it was going to be hard. So we had a lot of young guys, but that's what sort of happens. When you have a good team, you have a development year.
In his third and final year with the club, McKenzie told CTV News that the Warriors are cooking with the necessary ingredients for a successful season.
We're a little bit older. Guys are more used to the league. We got a couple good trades in, and I think a lot of good rookies are coming up, so I think we're going to be really good this year.
With just a few days until puck drop of the new season, O'Leary shared what he wants to see from his squad this year.
I want to see us check. I know that I like our depth throughout the lineup, up front and on the back end. We're going to have to be a 5-man unit if we want to create offense. But I want to see our play with the puck to be a little bit harder to play against.
And that starts on the road this Friday as Moose Jaw travels to Brandon for their season opener. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
City of Warman is hyped for the SJHL season opener of their Wolverines. Tickets for the game on Friday is sold out with 500 season tickets spoken for. Last-minute preparations are being done at the Warman Communiplex. The team says it's modeling home games after WHL broadcasts, complete with pre-game lights and fog shows and a large TV display. The team is looking to give a modern look to a familiar SJHL experience, and the community appears to be on board as well.
It's been just super the way the town has come around and said, hey, we'll buy tickets, we'll come out. We've sold out for this game already, obviously. We're looking hopefully at doing some standing room seats only right away. So I think that's going to be a big thing that we're going to announce in the next couple days.
The team store has seen jerseys and hoodies actually fly off the shelves, with orders placed for more already, as one of the suppliers that makes the clothing is actually pretty close in Saskatoon. Time for X's and O's, and yikes might be the best word to describe this. Riders were exposed on the corners with, of course, the injuries to Marcus Sales. Devon Campbell didn't play, so 2 players got their first ever start. Sapp the third and Exume. Exume has been around for a bit, but has never really started. And was it as simple as that? I mean, Tyson Philpott, 238 yards on 9 catches, or was there more to it? Because their running back, Stevie Scott III, also went off for 125 yards.
Yeah, you know what, Lee? I was thinking about this, trying to make sense of it, and it really, I think a little bit of it was just matchup issues, but at the same time, obviously, Montreal's coaching staff, Jason Moss, they realized the issues that the Riders had with their roster and decided to kind of focus on that as far as coming out early and really trying to get Tyson Philpott in that one-on-one with Exume and take advantage of it, and it seemed to be working early on, so they kind of just kept going back to it. I was a little disappointed in the Riders staff just for not really making that adjustment or just sitting back in more zone and not really getting Exume locked up one-on-one as much. And I don't even know if it was necessarily man-to-man coverage, but it was just situations where they knew that coverage was going to kind of expose Exume and have him kind of out there on his own. Now, I know he's a great athlete, great kid, and he'll bounce back, but yeah, it wasn't the best showing in that aspect. But as far as the game goes, it was really just the weather played into it a little bit as far as turnovers. Montreal fumbled the ball a couple times, but they got them both back.
Right.
Riders fumbled twice, lost them, and threw a pick. So, and then had that turnover on downs late, which I don't really factor in as much. But anyway, at the end of the day, I think it was the weather.
Let's jump then to the offense. Hopefully the defense can fix things up. C.J. Rivas also leaving the game, so this bye week could be helpful to get those three players maybe healthy a little bit. We'll know more next week. But offensively, yeah, it took them a while. It seems Montreal's defense was able to catch on a little bit on their short game, getting on the slants, but still somewhat okay. I mean, A.J. Ouellette still 90 yards. He's almost at 1,000 yards for the season.
Yeah, he's just been having a quietly great season, right? He's had some struggle, little injury issues, and you know the Rider O-line was touch and go there, the injury issues there as well. So I think that's one bright spot is right. The running game is getting going at the right time of the year. AJ's still looking healthy and really running his best. Seems to be getting better and better as the season goes, and the offensive line is only likely going to get healthier. And I think you know, we might get some receivers back that also threaten teams to maybe worry about maybe having a little more of cover guys on the field and opening up the Riders' run game even more. So I think that's definitely a bright spot going down the stretch.
What about Joe? Looked like he's a little more comfortable now that he's had some reps. He was kind of the leading receiver. The Riders keep having different guys pop up and play well at different times. That's got to be a benefit as we move forward.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Joe, you know, he came in early, and I remember the Riders kind of making him do some blocking in that first game back. But he got into the receiving action, like 8 catches last game, over 100 yards, and really it just adds to, you know, the guys that opposing teams have to worry about. So Joe is just another one. You know, you got Robustelli, who's had a big game. Neal has had some big catches, touchdown Tommy, as they're calling him. So I think, you know, you talk about those guys, and then you talk about some of the vets that might be coming back. And the Riders shouldn't have a personnel issue. It's really just going to be about schemes and guys making plays down the stretch.
Well, of course, they're under bye week. Next week, we'll get you set for their next game. They still have a chance to clinch a home playoff game, but they need BC, who's playing Calgary, and they need Edmonton and Winnipeg all to lose, which could happen. You never know. They fall into their lap. We'll analyze next week on another edition of X's and O's.
X's and O's, brought to you by Campion College at the University of Regina.
And this curling season will be the last for 6-time national men's champion Brad Gushue. The 45-year-old made the announcement on social media today. He'll be trying to represent Canada at one more Olympic Games with the trials later this year. Gushue won Olympic gold in 2006, World Men's Gold in 2017, and World Junior Gold in 2001. He also won gold at Mixed Doubles Nationals in 2021. Coming up, finding the Great Pumpkin in Canada could be difficult this fall.
We're already off to a good start. I have temperatures on the screen, so that's a great start already. Let's talk about, I'm getting a slow clap from Lee. All right, let's get to your rural forecast. As I mentioned already, we are going to start to see a little bit more of that cloud coverage in eastern Saskatchewan. Temperatures still within average. Average for this time of year is about 18 degrees. So we're still seeing those seasonal temperatures, but much warmer in western Saskatchewan with a lot more sunshine expected there. 23 degrees for Kindersley, mainly sunny. 22 for Lloydminster. 21 for Watrous, Outlook, and for Meadow Lake. And then Hudson Bay, 18 degrees and cloudy. Cloudy for Wynyard, 17 degrees. When we get closer to the southern border, temperatures remaining the same and more cloud cover again in the southeast there. 14 degrees, so cooler than seasonal for Carlisle and Broadview. 24 for Leader and Maple Creek. 16 up in Kenora, 22 for East End Cypress, and 22 degrees for Coronach, Assiniboia, and Rockglen. If we take a closer look at Lanigan, located about 170 kilometers north of Regina, named after W.B. Lanigan, an official with the Canadian Pacific Railway. 18 degrees tomorrow, mostly cloudy conditions. That 18 will feel closer to about 20 degrees. Could start to feel a little muggy tomorrow.
Smaller than normal pumpkins are popping up in different parts of the country ahead of the Thanksgiving and spooky season. CTV's Spencer Turcotte has more on how the dry and hot summer is largely to blame.
Vibrant rows of pumpkin varieties are on display at Good Family Pumpkins in Waterloo. But this summer's weather across much of the country hasn't been kind to the plant.
For sure, the lack of rain has definitely, in August, has affected some of the growth.
Karen Good of Good Family Pumpkins says their larger Halloween-type pumpkins have had a bit of a spook because of the dry and hot conditions.
I think with some of our bigger pumpkins, I feel that they're smaller.
Although they've had better luck than others.
For our farm, not as significant as maybe some other farms in Quebec, or PEI was also having some issues.
These ones should be at least 30% bigger.
Philip Quinn of Quinn Farm in Quebec has noticed fewer pumpkins in his patch.
Usually a nice healthy plant will have 5 or 6 fruit on it for this variety and 3 or 4 fruit on it for this variety. But we're seeing plants here with just one single large fruit and then maybe a smaller fruit on it.
It's a similar tale across much of the country. About 71% of Canada was classified as abnormally dry or moderate to extreme aridity, according to the Canadian Drought Monitor. So it seems like Good Family Pumpkins may have lucked out, considering they haven't taken much of a hit.
Whether it's our soil, whether it's just we got lucky, the varieties we grow, yeah, hard to know.
Meaning more out-of-town customers may be coming Karen's way.
I get people here saying, yeah, my friend has a farm up wherever, up north, and they don't have any pumpkins. It's a total crop failure, and that's like maybe an hour or 2 from here.
So with the spooky season fast approaching, some patches are dealing with the trickiness of little precipitation. Others have the treat of an almost normal crop. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Waterloo.
Yeah, Halloween it's not that far. Markets, TSX, 6 points up. Dow Jones up by 260 points today. As for the Canadian dollar, it went nowhere. Well, stayed the same, 72.60 cents US. Gold, just a little check up there, down $30.08. West Texas Intermediate Crude down 47 cents, while Western Canadian Select Crude was down 50 cents. And gas in Regina, we saw it drop very, very slightly yesterday. We can tell you it's the same, $1.39.9 cents per liter. Coming up tonight after the newscast, it's MasterChef, followed by a couple of shifting gears, and then the other things. Saskatchewan Roughriders, they're hoping to bring a proper tailgating experience to fans next season, according to an email sent to season ticket holders.
Yeah, in the email, Rider President and CEO Craig Reynolds said the team has been working with the government of Saskatchewan in hopes of bringing legal tailgating to Mosaic Stadium next season. It goes on to say season ticket holders will have first access to tailgating spaces if the proposal goes ahead. Now, several other CFL markets allow tailgating at stadium grounds already, including Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg. The Riders would not provide further comment at this early stage, but did say they're always looking for ways to improve the fan experience.
Would be kind of cool.
I would agree. All right, well, the finalists for the 2025 Toy Hall of Fame are out, and there are some surprises.
Yeah, each year compiled by the Strong National Museum of Play, and this time around, snow is one of the options for the honor.
I'm sorry, what?
Snow.
All right.
Yeah. Referred to snowball fights, organizers described the substance as a mostly harmless projectile that provides endless fun. Try shoveling it. What? Other finalists include board games, Trivial Pursuit, Connect 4, scooters, Tickle Me Elmo, Furby, and Cornhole. The public can vote for their favorites, and a panel of judges will decide who gets in November. What's your favorite game? Is it football? Because I got some bad news.
Yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow night we won't have a 5 or 6 newscast because the Miami Dolphins Buffalo Bills game will be on with the pregame show starting at 5 p.m. So this is the last one.
Yeah.
Next week, we will not have any of our 5 or 6 newscasts preempted. We'll have all those newscasts. So this game will be on for us tomorrow night. So we once again, or tomorrow night, yeah. So we're not going to have our 5 or 6 casts.
We'll be back on Friday.
Yeah, well, Friday, we'll also have our morning show now, the newly branded morning show. So Your Morning Saskatchewan will be on at 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. 2 early.